as a tardy, and that's confusing to some parents because you don't realize that, so just be aware. Absences, you can send doctor's excuses, but any kind of absence, they can have up to 10 per semester. And if you get more than that, or if you get close to that, you may get some notes or phone calls just to kind of remind you that you're getting close to that number. For transportation, I know a lot of you brought your kids in through the front this morning, but if they're going to be car riders in the morning, you'll drive all the way around the building and drop them off at the end of the second grade hallway. So you're going to go through the circle drive. And then they'll walk up from that hallway into the cafeteria in the morning. So if you can kind of remind them, a lot of them like to stop off at their classrooms if their teachers are there in the mornings, but some teachers aren't in there, and so they don't need to get used to just going into their classrooms. They need to come in here, where the adults will be in here to watch them until it's time for breakfast. Do not drop your kids off in the front. I know if you're late in the morning, sometimes that's easier, but there are no adults out there to make sure that they get into the building safely. And you've seen the traffic, so you know there's cars going everywhere. So please do not drop them off in the front. If they're bus riders, please make sure that your classroom's homeroom teacher knows how they're going to get home today. We know that may change, but we need to know today how they're going to get home. And then if you need to change it after that, please send a note or make sure that you call to let us know. That's very confusing and that's very hard to get done. The first probably week of school is getting the kids on the right buses. So if you don't know your bus letter, as long as you'll give us your address, we'll get them on the right bus. Lunch prices, of course, breakfast we eat that in the classroom just like we did last year in first grade. So it's free to everybody. Nobody has to pay for breakfast. If you want to send breakfast with your child and they don't want to eat the cafeteria lunch, that's fine. They'll be able to eat it in the room as well. We have that built into our schedule. For adults, it's $3.25. And if you know that you're going to come eat lunch with your child, it helps us to do the lunch count. If you'll let us know, just send a note. I know sometimes you don't know until it's time for lunch and you decide to come, and that's fine too. But let us know if you can. All right, so this year we have changed up the way that we're switching kids. We did this to cut down transition time and to also not make your child have to go to 7, 6, 5 different teachers. So your child will have 2 teachers throughout the year, and Miss Barbara and Mr. Matt's class are switching. So if your child has either one of them, Mr. Matt will be the math, science, and social studies teacher for that group, and then Miss Barbara will be the literacy teacher for that group. So your child will just have those 2 teachers, and the students are going to stay together in their homeroom group. So the students are not going to be mixed up throughout the day. I'm Miss Elizabeth, and I'm switching with Miss Megan. So I will be the math, science, and social studies teacher for those 2 groups, and Miss Megan is a literacy teacher. Miss Amanda and Miss Leslie are switching. Miss Amanda does literacy, and Miss Leslie, this is her, she'll do the math, science, and social studies for those 2 groups. And this year, we had so many kids that we got to add a 7th teacher. So Mr. Matt, some of you know him from kindergarten, he moved up with us. So that gave us 7 teachers. So Miss Krista decided that she would be the one to keep her homeroom all day. And so if your child has Miss Krista, they'll stay with her all day for everything. So we hope that will make things better, and we're excited to try that this year. I'm sorry, is that all? I didn't mark my paper. All right, Miss Leslie will finish going over our list.
Good morning. Some of the things I'm going to talk about are the data binders that we are asking y'all to purchase. We are going to have their learning pathways and different things that are in there for you to be able to see. They will be sent home on Tuesdays. If you will, leave everything that's in there in the binder, unless it is in the planner, like the back pocket of the planner, or if there's something stapled in there, that may be something that you can take out. But the rest of it, your kids are going to need while they're here at the school to show evidence of their learning. There will also be a Leader in Me tab talking about all year, and it's just kind of a way to think about what am I doing and how can I be a better person, and instilling those good qualities in them. So if from time to time you'll look at that leader in me pocket and see what we're talking about, you're going to hear words like be proactive, and you may have already been told by your kid, Mom, you're not being proactive, or we need to think win-win. So just be looking at that and seeing what we're talking about here at school, and just please leave all the things in the binder unless they are for you to be taken out so that they can have those for learning. We'll also be sending home orange folders again. They're a little more on the black and white and a little bit of orange side. They're not so orange this year, but be looking for those on Tuesdays. They could have behavior sheets, student work, notes that maybe we're sending home, and all of that stuff is usually for you to keep, or for you to, like field trip stuff, for you to keep and sign and then send back. Also, the planners that I talked about, those, just be sure to check that clear pocket at the back of that planner. That's where you may find notes and different things that will come home every day. We're also, for our behavior, going to continue to use what you may have seen last year for the flip-up, flip-down chart. We are going to be applying these to our leader in me, and the kids will be able to tell you, well, I was put down because I didn't think win-win with my neighbor. Instead, maybe we push each other or something like that. And then they still have the opportunity to flip back up. So even if they have a rough morning, a rough start, maybe they didn't feel good at home, or they got in bed late, and they got to put down first thing in the morning, they still will have the opportunity to put back up and to give themselves a success through the day. Be sure to sign the handbook pages. If you flip to the very back, I think it's somewhere around page 96, 97, something like that. It starts with all of the pages that you'll see you need to sign and send those back whenever you send back all of the other information papers that are in the packet that you should have received from your teacher today. There is a technology or video permission slip in there, but what we would like to do is we would like to go ahead and get started with morning announcements and with taking photos of the great things that we're doing here at Eastside and posting those to our Eastside Facebook page. So if you will, make sure that you sign your technology form with your teacher in their classroom so that we can go ahead and get started with getting those great things that we're doing here out to you on our school website and on our Facebook page. If you haven't seen our Facebook page yet, that may be something that you could actually get on and look at today. There will be updates and extra information that maybe is a last minute thing, and you need to look on there and see, well, is school getting out early? What time is it getting out? I'm not sure. My kid said 2, I've heard 1:30. Just be sure to get on there and look, because we're really going to try to share our successes and the great things that the kids are doing here that maybe don't actually get put out there in the public the way that they should. So just be sure to check for all the great things that your kids are going to be doing. If you have any questions or any changes to anything, please be sure to let us know, ask. If we don't know that there's a problem, we can't even begin to address it or to fix it. So if there is anything, please let us know so that we can at least have an opportunity to correct it. Are there any questions or anything that you guys have for today? Nothing but crickets. Just please be sure to sign that video release